Hey gang, it is time to go on a new adventure. The Hobbit is now available on Arena and we are ready to try out some of these fantastic new cards. Welcome friends and opponents to Head Games Arena. My name is Jet and we are out here in day one of the Hobbit on Arena playing some Brawl with the cheapest and greatest of calamities. And by that of course, I mean we are playing Smaug Wicked Worm. Now it's worth noting there are several different cards named Smaug and a couple of them in the deck for that matter. And I ended up going with this one for one very simple reason. I was already working on crafting this deck for Paper Commander. So it was easy for me to kind of port that idea over into Brawl, tweak it just a little bit to make it more 1v1, and end up with something that didn't take me an enormous amount of time to brew. Is this the best version? It's not even close. There's lots of different ways that you could possibly do this, some that are more aristocrats, and really this might not even be the best choice in terms of what Smaug you should be playing with, because I think that there's an argument that Smaug the Impenetrable, which I at first did not think was going to be available on Arena, there's an argument that this one is a better build around in Brawl because it's more glass cannon-y, it's more take your one opponent out as fast as possible, because an 8/7 flying indestructible haste is pretty amazing on its face. So I do think that there's an argument that we should build around this. But for today, we're playing Wicked Worm. 5 mana, 5/5. When it enters, it creates X tapped treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts your opponents control. Whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, you draw a card and lose a life. So this is a value engine deck. We're going to generate as many treasures as we can. We're going to play a lot of dragons because it's on theme and it's a super amount of fun, and you'll find that there's lots of dragons that care about treasures, so it's easy to kind of put those things together. We also, of course, are going to play a lot of interaction because that's how Brawl is. You need to be able to keep up with what your opponent's doing, and oftentimes you need multiple interactive spells if you are going to stop their game plan from going off before yours. And this being a mid-range list, that's really what you want to do. You want to disrupt your opponent and stop them from being able to complete their game plan while you're slowly setting yours up, and then at some point you switch and you get on the offensive and you're going to take over the game from there. So I'm not going to go over the removal suite. You can look at the list, check it out on your own, whenever you want to see all the different removal pieces. Again, there's probably different choices you could make here. I tried to play with the cheapest and most efficient ones that I could, so I was spending the smallest amount of mana keeping up with my opponent. In terms of treasure generation, Ragavan's a real all-star here down in the 1 mana spot. If you get this on turn 1 and your opponent doesn't deal with it, you're probably going to pull away from them and get an enormous amount of value. In the 2-drop spot, the Sackville-Bagginses is a brand new card, 2 mana 2/2. When it enters, you can sacrifice another creature or an artifact. If you do, draw a card and make a treasure. Most importantly, it says at the bottom, whenever you sacrifice a token, target opponent loses 1 life. So it turns all your treasures into damage, and it's just target opponent, so it's not as good in Commander, but it is fantastic here. Now, this would probably still be in my Commander list, but it's just better here, no two ways about it. The usual suspects are all here in terms of treasure generation. Generous Plunderer, Magda the Brazen Outlaw, which is also fantastic because it tutors out dragons. Magda the Horde Master, just a treasure generator. Riveteer's Requisitioner, again. Scuzzback Scrounger generates treasures. Kalane does one when it enters. Wily Goblin does one when it enters. And we go up the scale with more cards that do more of the same. Black Market Connections, card draw and treasure generation. Heartless Pillage makes our opponent discard cards and generates treasures. And we've got several more creatures that care about treasures. Skullport Merchant, Gadrak, J. Jonah Jameson. You get the idea. I'm not going to read every single card. As you get further up the scale, we start looking at dragons that are going to care about treasures. The first one being Decadent Dragon, which I don't know that I would include in the Commander list, and I'm sorry it's under my face. But this is a 4/4 that when it attacks, it generates a treasure, and it's also got an adventure side to it that exiles the top 2 cards of target opponent's library, and you can play them later. It's not as good in Commander. Very, very good here. At the top end, Bonehorde Dracosaur cares about treasures or generates treasures. Goldspan Dragon doubles your treasure mana production, also generates a treasure on attack. And then at the top end, I showed you Smaug the Impenetrable. We've got Hoarding Broodlord, which is a tutor. Terror of Mount Velis, which gives everything double strike. Stormscale Scion, which makes all of your dragons huge. And Scourge of Valkus does damage when other dragons enter. And then Terror of the Peaks does this fantastic trick with Smaug the Impenetrable. If Terror of the Peaks is on the board, Smaug can hit itself with the Enters trigger and generate 8 more treasures, and you end up mana positive. So that's probably win more in Brawl, but it's still an enormous amount of fun. So we're going to make a bunch of treasures. We're going to summon a bunch of dragons. It seems very on theme for The Hobbit. I hope it'll be a lot of fun to watch. I hope it'll be a lot of fun to play. Before we head over into that gameplay, as always, I'd like to invite you to do whatever you can to support the channel. Give us a like, give us a subscription. Let us know what you think about this deck, if there's other commanders you're excited to see from The Hobbit. Thank you, as always, for being here. Let's play some head games. Alright, gang. Game 1 of Smaug, Wicked Worm, Day 1, Hobbit, on Arena. We were up against Lamb, Stormcrane Elder. I have no idea what this card is. Okay, so this is the Alchemy Monastery Mentor. So it's a Monastery Mentor that makes Monastery Mentors. We've got a board wipe, which feels very good. Ruby Medallion doesn't synergize with what's in our hand. This is really slow. I think I'm going to take the mulligan. Okay, we've got Shatter Skull Smashing as far as interaction goes. Turn 2 Magda into turn 3 Fable is much faster than what we were doing before. Let's see what our opponent is up to. Nothing on turn 1 makes us quite happy. Very curious to see kind of what their deck is going to do. I'm going to guess it's incentivized to... Okay. So now, very real chance that they, like, tithe this or counter it. Maybe it makes more sense to get Treasure Map out. How do they feel about Treasure Map? Yeah, probably not as big a deal, right? So next turn we can scry with Treasure Map on our upkeep. Faithbound Judge. What do you do? If this creature has 2 or fewer, put a judgment. 3 or more, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Fascinating. Okay, we're going to scry on our upkeep. We can keep Mines of Moria right now. We do want more lands, so yes, we will draw that, please and thank you. Move to our main phase. We'll play a mountain, and we'll get Magda Boardmaster down. Gotta put that upkeep stop there every time. Here comes their commander. Probably. Yep. Okay. Scry on the upkeep again. Hoarding Broodlord feels good because it gets me a board wipe, right? Which I'm gonna need at some point. Very, very clear that I'm going to need it. I'll draw that. Go to our main phase. I'm going to set the stop now so I don't forget it. Okay, now we can play Mines of Moria because Magda comes in untapped. Or, I'm sorry, because I have a legendary creature. Mines of Moria comes in untapped because I've got Magda. No attacks here. As long as it has 3 or more judgment counters, it may attack as though it didn't have Defender. Okay. It's going to be a real big threat here in a moment. Very curious to see what happens now. Stasis Snare. What's it going to grab? The token, I'm guessing. Going to take the Fable. Okay. Takes the Magda. Gets in with Lamb. You got it. I mean, it does stop me from does stop me from activating Magda and getting dragon tokens this turn, so probably correct. We certainly don't need Arcane Signet at this stage. We will proceed to draw. We can proceed to our main phase. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is going to... What are we discarding? Are we discarding anything? Because I can hit Lamb and the Monastery Mentor here. I'm not sure if that's right. Because they probably have responses. I kind of like my hand. Okay. Let's get our land for turn down. So we have 7 mana. I could cast Hoarding Broodlord. I could cast Chandra. Shatter Skull Smashing feels like it gets a counter. But I think that that's the right play. Maybe we Breaching Dragonstorm and just spin the wheel? Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Breaching Dragonstorm. See what our opponent... let's just draw out the reprieve. No? Okay. Well, they can always reprieve whatever I get. Yeah, Scourge of Valkis. Yeah, we'll just do the damage to you. Okay. And Light of Hope destroys... I see. You got it. Destroys Breaching Dragonstorm. Okay. They're going to go wide so fast. What are you... Oh, you can get bigger. Okay, that's it. No attacks. Not into your giant Faithbound Judge. And you've got... And they've got a 1-mana removal spell. Here it comes. No? Okay. Really seemed like they did there. So I wonder what else they're holding. I mean, what's very neat about our opponent's commander is that you... I mean, obviously the commander itself is a mythic rare, but doesn't really necessarily require you to do an enormous amount here. Okay. We're getting in with the Faithbound Judge, I'm guessing. Yeah. Yeah, no blocks. I mean, our only hope here, I think, is to let them kind of play out, is to let them cast as many spells as they can. We can resolve all of those, that's fine. They may just have us, you know. That's a lot of damage. It's kind of board wipe or bust at this point. Okay. Exile this Saga. Okay, so I need... No, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to tap carefully here because we need a black mana at the end of this. What do we got? Okay, so we'll do 2 to the actual Monastery Mentor. Oh, do I have enough to Crux? 1, 2, 3, 4. I do. I have enough to Crux. Okay, we're gonna try this. I may have just made a grave error. Nope. No error detected. Awesome. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. Oh no! Protection doesn't stop you from that. Ooh, okay. Okay. What does the backside of this do? It just puts you on a clock. That's pretty solid. Okay, Surge of Valkis gains us some life. Crusader of Odric, power and toughness equal to the number of creatures. Whenever a creature enters, you gain a life. Okay, what are we doing with our turn? We went back up to 9 life, so we're actually probably fairly okay there. So let's J. Jonah Jameson on the Hoarding Broodlord. And then get in for 7. Generate a treasure. That board wipe may have just turned the game for us. Chandra Spark Hunter
out of my way.
Is gonna sacrifice the treasure to draw a card.
New plan.
We will play High Market as our land for turn, which is not so bad because I guess it only gains you 1 life. Lyra Dawnbringer for our opponent. Gains you some life. So do I have enough? Or you're attacking me? I will take the 2. Okay. So Toxic Deluge for 5 removes both of their creatures, but it hurts me quite a lot. Shatter Skull Smashing, X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures. If X is 6 or more, twice X damage. So I do have enough to do 6, right? Okay. So we're going to move to combat. Hoarding Broodlord's going to get in because it has Menace. And we're going to do Shatter Skull Smashing X6. Targeting Lyra and Crusader. I have to spend 12 between them. Wait, that's not right. 6 twice is 12. Why? I don't understand. There we go. I don't know why it lets you do more damage there. Yes, we will, again, sacrifice the treasure.
Just drive.
Play our land for turn. I think we have stabilized. Here comes their commander. Unfortunately, it has 3 power, which is just a terrible amount because now Chandra Spark Hunter.
It's been nice racing, but I'm gonna go win now. Kick it into high gear.
We are gonna go in now. Yeah, this is gonna do 3 damage. I guess we could have done it to our opponent, but keeping their commander off board is probably better. I believe that is the game, friend. Good on them for sticking it out. I'm not so good at that. Here is our commander coming in at the very last minute and not really accomplishing anything. Okay, that's it. Faithbound Judge, you got it. Yes, we will. We were going to move right to combat, but our opponent didn't wait around. Okay, that's 1. On to game 2. Excellent to see some other people trying out some new commanders here. We're playing Smaug the Wicked Worm. Our opponent is on the Notary Hobbits, which is just a big ramp deck. Okay, we are on the draw, which feels a little bit bad. We do have Scrounger on 2 into Pillage on 3, which is a little better than it looks, I believe. They're going to have blockers, though. Once again, the problem that I'm looking at here is that I don't have any interaction in my hand. I'm going to take the mulligan. Okay, Mayhem Devil is ridiculous in this deck. It's amazing, 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 especially against what our opponent is doing. So I think we're going to keep this just because we have Mayhem Devil in our opener. Here's Birds of Paradise for our opponent. There's another land. We'll start with a swamp. Shared Roots, little land ramp for our opponent, and they're going to play a land for turn. There's a tap land. That's just the Shire. Okay, so they have... Whew. Okay, this is going to be very tough. Alright, we're going to play Kalane. If they have another land, they get to cast the Hobbits this turn. Here they are. Hobbit, Hobbit. Okay. We're gonna play our land for turn, and we're gonna play... Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. Don't use the treasure. We're gonna play Mayhem Devil. I wish I had another removal spell. We're gonna hit a token. This probably is not good enough to slow them down enough, because they still have an enormous amount of mana here. So there it is. That's all it takes. Yeah. That's it. Annihilator 8, so they annihilate all of our permanents when they attack. You're playing out, huh? Okay. We'll play it out then. There's no way out of this for us. Yep. So this is like the new Rathalos. I don't know what's better. I mean, Rathalos is probably better. There's no actual reason for me to be playing this out at this point. They've actually got the win on the table. I mean, I guess we'll let them attack. Here comes their commander again. That's it. That's how easy it is. Just play big green and always get Ulamog. Excellent! Another new commander. We're here with Smaug, Wicked Worm. Our opponent is on Thranduil, the Elven King. What we learned last game is we mustn't fall into the trap of thinking that we can get away without having a removal early on. Like, especially in a green matchup where they're just green ramp, you must bolt the bird. Like, you must slow them down, because they are like their top end. Especially their top end is Ulamog. Yeah. Okay, we can keep this. We've got a Fatal Push. We've got, you know, some treasure generators, and we've got Smaug the Impenetrable, which is an enormously powerful and fun card. Okay. We will play a Swamp. See what our opponent is up to. Turn 2 gives them a Mana Dork, I'm guessing. Paradise Druid has Hexproof, which is amazing. Dark Fortress gets us Jet Medallion, which feels quite good. Reclamation Sage is the perfect draw. Destroys our Jet Medallion. They don't bother to attack. That's a little suspect. Okay, here's Skullport Merchant. Makes a treasure. We'll pass the turn. Enduring Vitality for our opponent turns everything into Mana Dorks. Pretty good. They're going to sacrifice their fetch land. Fix their mana a little bit. They don't have black represented in their lands. Okay, Overgrown Tomb. They take the full 3. Tristan. I actually thought that this was a good include for the Thranduil deck as well. Okay. So, we're fine with that, I think. Alright. Here's our land for turn. So, I think we are incentivized at this point to play Smaug, and just to see if they've got a removal spell. And you know, if they do, they do, and we'll keep playing from there. No attacks from us. Is our opponent going to flip Tristan and mill some more cards? What do they have in the bin so far? Nothing with an activated ability. Okay. They did hit Lewin, which is a decent... which is a decent hit because it has an activated ability. Because what they're looking for is they're looking for things to hit with Thranduil, which it can copy its abilities. seriously considering building this in Paper Commander, building Thranduil. Okay, Dawn Hand Eulogist also mills cards, does some damage to me. And do they have the removal? Phyrexian Arena is not removal. Okay, here's the problem. I do not have any treasures. So I can use the Sackville-Bagginses to sacrifice Skullport Merchant and get a treasure. Okay, I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the Sackville-Bagginses to sacrifice Skullport Merchant. We're going to play Plundering Barbarian, paying with a treasure, which is going to trigger Sackville and Smaug. That's a damage for our opponent. And another treasure for us. Now we can play an actual land for turn that isn't Malakir Rebirth. And then we'll get in for 5. Okay. We're not... I don't think we are, like, on... I don't think that we are a turn away from losing here. But I've never played against this deck before. Because it's day 1. We're going to flip Tristan again. This is why I think Tristan is pretty good. It's basically an elf that mills 3 cards every turn as long as you're willing to put a mana into it. Okay, so still Lewin is the only thing. Thranduil is here. Okay. So Thranduil can make mana. Thranduil can discard a land. Sacrificing a fetch land. I really don't want to tap out. I want to hold up Malakir Rebirth. Okay, Eladamri. Tap 2 untapped creatures, reveal a card from your hand to the top of your library. If you reveal a creature, right onto the battlefield. Very cool. They want that in the yard for sure. Okay, draw 2, discard, because that's the other half of Thranduil. And they discarded Vampiric Tutor. Okay, so they are not presenting any mana at this point. So now I can sacrifice this treasure, and we're gonna Fatal Push Tristan. Oh no, they've got something. I forgot that their creatures can all tap for mana. What do you have for 1 black? Nothing. Okay, now we're okay. So Scourge does 2. That's not really great. So there's a beautiful thing that I can do if I can get Scourge down or Terror down. Terror down is actually really scary for our opponent. So I'm incentivized here to get Terror of the Peaks down. And actually play Dragonskull Summit, but that means I can't cast this Smaug next turn. It does mean I can cast Scourge of Alcus next turn. I think that's correct. Let's do that. Let's get Dragonskull down. Let's get in with our commander. We're going to play Terror of the Peaks. And we're going to hold up Malakir Rebirth. This is it for our opponent. If they can find the answer, lots of things that could go wrong for me here. Okay, Llanowar Visionary draws them another card, but it's not super scary. They've got an enormous amount of mana. Fabled Passage for our opponent. They're going to sacrifice that, dig out another land. We're still holding up Malakir Rebirth. Glissa Sunslayer is pretty neat. Draw 2, ditch. You're going to tap out to use Thranduil's ability. You're going to attack with Thranduil. I would be fine with that. because I don't see any reach creatures. Okay, our opponent is activating Thranduil to generate a whole bunch of worms. I think there's no stick left here, so I'm fairly certain we've got it. Alright, here's the really fun thing. I'm gonna play Smaug the Impenetrable. Terror of the Peaks. Oh, they didn't let me do it! It does just win me the game. Alright, folks, on to game 4. Currently 2-1. Our opponent is on Katara, Waterbending Master, one of the fussiest and most difficult things to play against. So we do have a Terminate and a Fell the Profane in our opening hand. Is that enough for us to do what we need to do? I think that it is, because I get to go Mines of Moria on 1 into Arcane Signet on 2. And then they're playing Katara on 2. Let's keep it. I've got 2 removal spells for Katara. If we're going to be able to do this, that's about as good as we can do. It is about as good as we can do. Yes, so we will start with the Mines of Moria tapped. Just an island for our opponent. Gonna opt on your turn or wait for me to do it? You want to threaten a Spell Pierce? Okay, they're going to consider on their turn. They're not trying to pretend like anything else is going on here. What's very nice is that as soon as they cast Katara, it's going to look like I have Stick because I have Malakir Rebirth. Okay, Arcane Signet on 2. I really want to hold the Fell the Profane as a removal spell, so I'm really hoping that we draw a land here. Untapped would be pretty fantastic. The deck always wants to play Katara because really it's one of those things where if I don't have an answer to it, then they go off. Okay, so we do get to terminate Katara. And I think from there, I might actually play Jet Medallion instead of Generous Plunderer. Is that right? Generous Plunderer. They're almost certainly going to put Katara in the command zone. They're just thinking about it really hard for some reason. Maybe they disconnected. I hate to sound excited about that, but I find this deck very frustrating. We're going to play Generous Plunderer because this is going to put some pressure on them. 3 mana for our opponent. Let's see a stock up. Is your draw just 100% perfect? Okay, our opponent is deeply considering what they're going to do here. I mean, they actually took a long time to click the button to decide to put Katara in the command zone, so I think I have to move. I think I have to give everybody treasures. I mean, they don't get it right now. They don't get it till their turn. So, and we drew a land, which feels very good for us. We're going to play our land, and we're going to get in for technically 3, unless they want to. Here's Merfolk Trickster. Gonna tap a creature. Okay. Think we're gonna. What could they have that stops Smaug for 1 mana? Let's find out. Okay, we'll get another treasure because our opponent has a treasure from Generous Plunderer. I feel a lot better about that choice now. Okay. Tell me again what this does. When you cast a spell during your opponent's turn, you get an experience. When Katara attacks, you draw a card for each experience, then discard a card. Okay. So it's really trying to play a tempo game. Okay, when this, and it's activated abilities, so it's going to tap my Smaug. Okay. And its activated abilities can't be played. Okay. Opponent gets in for 2. You got it. We're going to take our turn. I am going to give them another treasure. Because Generous Plunderer does damage equal to the number of, does damage to them equal to the number of artifacts they control. Really thinking hard. Do you want your treasure? I mean, you can't really choose. I suppose you could counter the triggered ability if you really wanted to. Bounce something. Lots of different options here. Pongify my Generous Plunderer? Please, Pongify my Generous Plunderer. No? Dang. Okay. I think we're going to get some work done right now. I'm gonna cast Scuzzback Scrounger with a treasure. Draw a card. What are they doing? Okay, we're going to play our land for turn. We're going to use a treasure and a mountain to cast Jet Medallion. We're going to draw a card. Lightning Bolt feels amazing here. Because it gives me 2 removal spells and a protection spell. Well, let's move to combat. How do we feel about Generous Plunderer getting in for 4? The suspense is killing me. Okay. Here we go. Take 4. Not the 4th take, but 4 damage, please. And thank you. I can end the turn from there. Okay. I mean, the good news is we have several removal spells to deal with Katara. Because Bolt will remove it. I guess it was probably incorrect of me to tap the Gold Saucer as my colorless mana there. I mean, it's very marginal, but I could activate Gold Saucer on my opponent's end step if they don't do anything else. So there is that. I don't have enough cards in my graveyard to do Mines of Moria. Okay, here's Katara. We're going to bolt that right now. Okay. Okay, we're okay with this. Because we are... Oh, I can't do both, huh? Okay. Let's see where they change it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to take this time to bolt Katara, or to fell the Profane Katara. Oh, I thought Hydroelectric Specimen was just a redirect, and it redirects it to itself. I thought they could have targeted one of our creatures. So I was wrong about the way that works. Our opponent is taking their very, very sweet time. Hydroelectric Specimen takes 3. Their commander now costs... Oh yeah, you want to get in for 2? You got it. Okay, Generous Plunderer is no longer going to give you treasures. But Scuzzback Scrounger can start withering Smaug with no problem at all. Prosper with a treasure. Draw a card. Let's get our Temple of Malice down to see what's on top. We will keep the big score on top of our library, and we're going to hold this... Well, of course we're holding the Blood Crypt. Moving to combat, we will get in with just Plunderer. You don't have any treasures left, but really we would rather not give them any additional mana right now. Okay, big score in our exile zone. I mean, it's not a great line for our opponent to just play Katara at this point. It doesn't really accomplish a whole heck of a lot for them. They need to play Katara and have some backup. And we haven't exactly overwhelmed them with pressure here. I do have a big score in the exile zone, which is going to get me a couple of cards and a couple of treasures, which feels pretty good. But really, like, they're incentivized to hold up a counterspell to try to stop big score from happening. Okay, Eluge the Shoreless Sea. Equal to the number of islands. When it enters or attacks, put a flood counter. It's an island in addition to its other types. Okay. What am I missing here? Each land you control that has a flood counter. Got it. They still have stick, so very real chance that they have a counter here, but we're going to take the risk anyway, because the benefit of resolving big score right now is absolutely gigantic. I need to overwhelm them with value. So getting them to either use their counterspell on their turn or getting them to, you know, or just resolving big score would be perfectly fine right now. They really have been very considerate. In the most literal sense of the word. Like, they are considering their options very clearly. Listen, getting those lands out of the way actually feels pretty great. All right, let's go to our turn. Let's draw a non-land. At this point, literally anything that I cast literally anything that I cast with a treasure is going to feel good. We are not going to give them any more treasure with Plunderer. Listen, Sackville-Bagginses is really strong. Here, we're going to put another counter on Smaug. Let's play our Haunted Ridge for turn. Let's play Sackville-Bagginses with a treasure. Oh boy. What are we doing? Okay, they are going to sacrifice a treasure. Okay, excellent. That was a huge hit. Unexpected windfall. This is what the deck is designed to do. We're chaining spells together now, and now we've got Sackville-Bagginses on board. So we're also blasting them for one every time we do that. Every time we pop a treasure at this point, they're going to take a damage. Bolt Bend is super good. Devour Intellect is super good. Pay with a treasure. Yep. I mean, it does feel like we're taking a fair amount of damage, but we are very okay with it. Okay, so they are done! Oh, I love it when we were able to overcome that deck. Alright, gang. Back to the regular brawl against Raph and Mikey Troublemakers. This is Game 5, currently 3-1. What are we looking at? Too slow. No interaction until much, much later. Not good enough against that deck. Bolt is okay, but one land is not. Terminate, Zorn, Terror of the Peaks. It's a very suspect hand, but we are going to keep it. We tucking a mountain, I think. This is going to feel like we're not doing much at all. Here's a Blood Crypt tapped. Then we'll play Mines of Moria tapped. Their deck, like, deeply depends on, like, it uses land ramp most of the time. So I can't even bolt the bird, right? Like, if they use Mana Dorks, we're probably fine, but they're not going to do that. Okay. Here's a Swamp and a Zorn. We don't actually have anything to do with Zorn yet. Okay, so they got 2. Do they have 4? Meaning they got a 2-mana ramp spell. They had a tap land, so they cannot do that. Mind Stone is not a 2-mana spell. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they've got it. Like, they've got the thing. All we can do is attack with Zorn. And pass the turn. Turn 4, Raph and Mikey. Here it is. It's a question. Like, basically the question is, do they make me have it right now? Or do they take a layup, do something slightly less interesting? I actually am not sure if the deck plays protection. I imagine that it must. Titan of Industry seems very strong. What do they do? I don't have anything to destroy, so shield counter life, maybe Rhino life, maybe shield counter Rhino. I would believe either of those things. Yep, there we go. Shield counter Rhino for our opponent. We need something to do that costs 3 mana or less. That's not it. See, this is how good this deck is. Like, you just have to, like... And now they have mana for protection. So if they have a protection piece, the game is just over. That's all the deck has to do. See, there it is. That's it. That's all it takes. All right, on to Game 6, currently 3-2 with Smaug, Wicked Worm. We're playing against Gilgamesh, Master at Arms. Interestingly, I played against this deck, it may have been last week, and I'm really kind of curious. See, having seen it more than once, there's a part of me that thinks there must be something to it, right? Like, there must be something you can do with Gilgamesh that is really kind of busted. So if I had a third land and could say for sure that I was going to get Professional Facebreaker on 3, I might keep this. But Lightning Bolt alone is not enough. Now we do not have targeted removal, but we have a Scry and we have other stuff to do, so I feel a little bit better about this. Especially because I can go Skullport Merchant into Fire Crystal or Skullport Merchant into Crime Novelist, and then I'm using my treasures a little bit better. Crime Novelist is fully in here as a way to make the treasures generate 2 mana. It's a little awkward, but because you have to kind of manually do it to make it work right, but still there's not a lot of options in this color pairing to make that happen. So, or, you know, to kind of double the amount of treasures that you're generating or make treasures generate double mana, which is probably not as important in Brawl. This whole thing is me trying to bring my Commander experience into the Brawl arena, and it turns out that they're very, very different formats. I know, that's like, the sky is blue, right? It's 90 degrees outside, the sky is blue, and Brawl is a different format than Commander, because it definitely is. We will keep 7. Our opponent goes down to 6. I do want them to be able to play the game. Okay. We are a little advantaged now. Oh, I forgot that we're on the... oh, okay. So they kept the Gemstone Cavern hand, so they now start with 4 cards. Let's draw something good. Is land good? I'm going to keep the land. I know I'm not doing anything on turn 2, but I feel okay with that. Here's a Solar Transformer for our opponent. They are ramping. We'll play the land we just pulled. 4 mana on turn 3 for our opponent. Arcane Signet. Freya. Okay, here's our 3rd land, Skullport Merchant. Generate a treasure. I'm 100% slamming Smaug next turn. 100%. Ring of Lucy. Iron Man armor. Okay, here is our 5th land. Here comes the Wicked Worm. Generates 4 treasures. No compelling reason not to attack. Okay, what does Gilgamesh do? Okay, when it enters... Oh, wow! That was amazing! It puts all of them into play. That's what it does. Got it. That's amazing. Yep. Oh, you get to do it again. Woo! Oh my gosh! I've never seen the deck go off. Oh! 41 damage. That's what the deck is supposed to do. Alright, gang. On to game 7, 3-3, playing against probably a much better dragon deck. Let's see if we can make some stuff happen here. Okay, we do get Wily Goblin to Sackville-Bagginses. This is Terror of the Mount Valus. Is not something you want to have in your hand. You want to get it out later in the game. It's in the deck to kind of close out the game. Okay, we can keep this. We're on the play, so that really changes things. Let's put out a mountain and kind of threaten what we're doing here. Okay, Dragon Skull Summit. Wily Goblin. I'm gonna make a treasure. Okay, our opponent has not done anything just yet. Variable solutions. Seek a basic land card. Got it. There it is. Okay. Does this give a bonus? It doesn't. Okay. So, what we're gonna do here is we're going to attack with the goblin. This might have been too cute. This might have been too cute. I'm not sure. So I Malakir Rebirth the Wily Goblin. I'm going to Sackville-Baggins the Sacrifice it. I'm going to get a treasure and a card from that. I'm going to get another one from the Wily Goblin, and we're going to end the turn. Radha for our opponent. During your turn it has first strike. You can play lands off the top. They missed a land drop. Okay. That makes things much better for us. I still can't do more than one thing though. So I can't cast Smaug and do something else. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to cast Jane Jonah Jameson. We're going to make the Sackville-Baggins suspected. We're going to attack and get another treasure. I do have enough to play Smaug and something else next turn, so I think I'm going to hold. Okay, Uro for our opponent. They are desperately digging for lands. Did they get it? Doesn't look... Okay, they got a land. Do they have yet another one? Exploration. But they missed a land drop already, right? Commercial District. Radha's not attacking, I don't imagine. Okay. Oh, this is fairly decent. Let's get our land for turn down. We're going to play the Wicked Worm. We will play Skullport Merchant. Takes a long time because we're sacrificing all the treasures. I do like that happens automatically. It generates another treasure. We're gonna get in with Sackville again, and we'll say go from there. What else we got? They get Ureni. X damage. X is the number of lands you control. They did not have it. Okay. Okay, Topiary Stomper online. Entish Restoration gets them a bunch more lands. 3, yep. So they are ready to go. So I think the answer here is I'm gonna use treasures to sacrifice the Wily Goblin to draw a card. We're gonna do some damage with the Sackville-Bagginses, and then we're gonna take our turn. Okay. Ragavan doesn't do us any good. Okay, this does X damage divided as you choose between any number of creatures and planeswalkers your opponents control. X is the number of lands that you control. So how do I not die here? Okay. Gosh. I mean, we play Pitiless Plunderer with a treasure. Okay, we can take out one of their guys now, but that doesn't necessarily do a whole lot for us. So we can take out Rada. And then we get in for 7, but then they probably have enough to remove our whole board, right? Goodness gracious, I am a little worried that we might just lose here. So, Genesis Ultimatum for our opponent. Let's see what the wheel spin gets them. Lumbering Whirlwagon, Land, Druid class. That was not a good hit. Like, lots of lands does not do a whole lot for them. They do gain some life, but they don't have enough now. Oh, do they have enough? 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't look like they have enough to cast their commander now. Harrow is not going to do it. I was really sure that they were going to cast their commander and do a bunch of damage to our board. They had plenty of lands. I feel strongly that they could have taken us out here. I mean, they did gain a bunch of land. Okay, playing an additional land, going back up to 16. Okay. Our opponent is attacking for 4. I'm gonna block. I'm gonna block. I will sacrifice it in response. Generate a treasure. I think I can do it. No damage. What else you got? Okay, we got there. So I can play Blood Crypt. And then we can play Terror of Mount Velis, which is going to surprisingly win us the game. Yep. Double strike means we're doing at least 15 damage. All right, friends and opponents, how did we do today? 4 and 3, very back and forth. We definitely got dunked on by the decks that dunk on you in the format. I mean, Raph and Mikey ran us over. The Notary Hobbits felt a whole lot like playing against Raphalos. So really very similar, seemed like the same deck as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't even say it's necessarily slower. It just, the Raphalos deck casts Raphalos on 2, and this casts the Hobbits on 3. You're still on turn 4 doing something ridiculous that costs 10 or 11 mana. You lost to an Ulamog. What are you going to do? That's what the deck... we did get to see Gilgamesh go off, which I was actually really excited about because I played against that deck before and our opponent was really struggling to keep up, but really just had a bad draw. And I realize now that the power of Gilgamesh is that it's still a bit of a spin the wheel. Like, you still look at a number of cards, and if you don't hit the right artifacts or you don't hit the right equipment, you're not going to get anywhere. But still, we got to see it go off. We got to see it do the thing, which was exciting. We saw some people playing with some other new commanders like Thranduil, which we're probably going to try here soon. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. The whole time I'm playing this, I'm thinking to myself, like, having a value generating commander is really great in Commander, in full 4-player EDH. But here in the 1v1, the longer I stare at it and the longer I think about it, the more I think that this is really where you want to be, that this is what you want to be doing, that even the, like, when it gets dealt damage, you get that many treasure tokens, and there's ways that you can build around that for sure. It just, to me, immediately says this is going to close out the game incredibly quickly. If you've got anything that allows you to kind of up its power or anything that allows you to give it double strike, again, lots of different options for that. I really think that this is probably the ticket, and I might actually build around this and come back to this here in a few weeks. Maybe we start the season with Smaug and we end the season with Smaug. I don't know. That's an interesting thought. So we'll come back to it here in a couple of weeks and see if we have a different list that is a little bit more successful, because to summarize how I feel about this, I'm really not sure this is a good Brawl deck. As a matter of fact, I'm fairly certain that it's not. We did okay today, but in some cases it was just we outvalued our opponent, but it doesn't take much for us to just slip a single turn and then suddenly we're not able to do anything at all. So trying to play this value game of attrition thing with our opponent's not necessarily the greatest strategy in Brawl, because you end up getting run over by those kind of meme lists, which I don't think Raph and Mikey is a meme list. It is a straight up powerhouse that I get beat by all the time, which really tells me, because I'm building janky brews, and so when that deck is running me over every time, I go, that's the pinnacle. That's what Brawl really should look like. So I'm also, I don't mind telling you that I'm really thinking about starting to play on the ranked ladder for Brawl, just to kind of see how different that is, if really we start to see a different pattern and a different meta over in the ranked ladder. Very curious to see what that looks like, but I'd like to find a deck that feels stronger than this one to do that. So today was day one. We're just out here having some fun. I like this card a lot, and I like playing with treasures a lot, so this was the easy layup for me to get the season started. We'll try some more creative and hopefully some more streamlined things in the weeks to come. If you are listening to me ramble here at the end of the video about whether or not I think the deck's any good, reminder, I don't. It's the best thing that you can do to support the channel. It really tells the algorithm that people are watching us to the end and that they should show our videos to other people, and that is fantastic. I really appreciate it when you do that. So thank you again for being here, and remember, take care of your head. Hey gang, thanks so much for tunneling in. Click that subscribe button to support the channel and check out our last Brawl video featuring Captain America and his collection of fancy vehicles.